There are people of certain countries that see rules and discipline as a harsh implementation, while some see them as necessary tools. In this episode, I'll be looking at 10 countries that have strict governance and law implementation. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and for this episode, we're going to be looking at nations from different parts of the world, and they are bound by either their religious traditions or just their cultural traditions, maybe a mix of both. But let's jump into this list. At number 10, we have Singapore. Singapore is small, but the government has a firm implementation of the laws and policies. Any wrong move can cause a person to be fined. Like spitting in a public area, for instance, you can be fined for that. Also, if you smoke in public areas, you are most likely to get into some trouble with the law. Even wearing an inappropriate dress in public can also land a person in jail. However, Singapore's strict adherence to the rules has resulted in a world-class economy with living standards that are way higher than many other nations. In at the number 9 spot, we have Japan. People believe that for many years, the feudal system that was in place in Japan still has its influence on the structure and workings of the modern government. The hierarchy of authority can be found in almost any structure in the country, including in the home, of course, in the school system, office and workplaces, you name it, it's all there. So pretty much everybody respects the person who is superior to them. All of the companies in the country adhere to the strict law that all employees from the CEO down to the janitor are supposed to excel in their work. Number 8 leads us to China. In the midst of territorial disputes with its neighbors, China has projected a very positive image by being open to other nations. However, one must keep in mind that China is still a communist country. Any person or agency who gives rise to anti-government propaganda, well, they're silenced pretty much immediately. The youth of the country are also deterred from being fascinated and influenced by Western culture and Western thought. And the media also is under control. Access to the internet has several restrictions, and websites like Google and social media platforms like Facebook are censored and blocked. Nobody is allowed to talk about rebellion or change or reform or anything like that in China. From there, let's move on to number 7, Cuba. The birthplace of Cuban cigars and the late Fidel Castro, it's primarily seen as a world-class vacation destination. But behind its beaches and Latin music and all of that, Cuba remains a communist country, and those who speak against the government, well, they face serious consequences. The internet is regularly screened, and writers who post anti-government sentiments will almost certainly face jail time if they're arrested. Cubans know how to party, of course. It's a great spot for vacationing. However, playing certain types of music, reggaeton music, well, it can be prohibited. From there, let's look at Equatorial Guinea at number 6. In the country, people are discouraged from learning how to read and write, according to many reports. Now, the rate of tourism, though, in the country is also very low due to certain factors. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Basogo, he's a man that runs the country and has been in power since 1979. TV and radio stations are under the control of the government as well. Also, foreigners who are allowed to enter Equatorial Guinea are closely monitored and prohibited from filming scenes and conditions that portray any type of poverty. Number 5 leads us to Saudi Arabia. This country, of course, is deeply rooted in its laws, and these laws are based on the religion and traditions of the country. Social laws can be very strict, especially for visitors who are not necessarily familiar with the rules of the land and the culture there. For example, you should refrain from holding hands and any sort of public displays of affection. Also, alcohol is banned, and during Ramadan, the month of fasting, you should not have any water or food visible in public during this time, or even visible in your car, or you could risk being fined. Media, including books, newspapers, magazines, television, and films, as well as online content, are also censored by Saudi Arabian government officials. The Saudi government closely monitors media and restricts it under official state law. Next, let's look at Eritrea. This country is located above the Horn of Africa and has been ruled by President Isaias Afwerki, who came into power in the year 1993. Now, the government has full control of the media and over the news, as well as control of who writes the news. No news can be broadcasted without approval from the president first, and the religion in the country is also controlled. Since 2004, Eritrea has been designated as a CPC, and what that means is that it's a country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act of 1998, Section 402B, for having engaged in or tolerated particular severe violations of religious freedom. Coming in at number 3, we have Syria. Syria's violence has risen over the years as clashes between government and rebel forces have intensified. The Syrian regime has resorted to a nationwide communications blackout to curb anti-government protests, and communications via mobile phones as well as landline phones as well as internet access are restricted, and foreign news correspondents are also restricted, and media is very closely monitored. Syrian journalists who oppose the government can actually be targeted. From there, we look at Iran at number 2. The government of the country is based on religion and Sharia laws. Actions and propaganda against the government are illegal in Iran. Logging into social media websites such as Facebook and various different Google platforms, YouTube and whatnot, is something that you should do with caution. VPNs aren't allowed in Iran. However, it's known that everybody uses them to use Facebook and YouTube and other websites that are blocked in Iran. Even the government is said to know this, but hey, you still gotta be pretty cautious when you're using those platforms. Women are supposed to wear hijabs and cover in public, and Western music is prohibited to be played or performed in public. The country coming in at the number 1 spot is North Korea. The communist country of North Korea accepts tourists from all over the world except tourists from South Korea, as well as the United States. I never knew this. Also, personal guides that are called minders, they are assigned to every tourist that enters the country. They accompany tourists from the day that they enter to the day that they leave. Literally, they make sure that tourists do not break any rules and regulations of the country. They literally accompany you every single where you go. The administration has complete control over everything, including TV, radio, as well as publication companies. News and television content is censored, and only the ruling elite have access to the internet, and their online activities are tightly monitored. Traveling is also limited in the country, and intimate relations between unmarried couples are not allowed in North Korea. Women in the country are not allowed to wear pants, and the communist regime of North Korea, well, it has reportedly outlawed all but 15 non-socialist haircuts, and they have instead issued an order for proper hairstyles. So only certain hairstyles can be had in that country. So guys, this brings us to the end of this episode, looking at 10 countries that have the strictest laws in the world. Let me know down below in the comment section, which other strict laws do you know about? Sound off down below. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up. And if this is your first time stumbling across our videos here on FTD Facts, go ahead, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you'll join the FTD Facts family and be notified when new videos are posted. Until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay educated, and I'll see you soon.